up, we're locked in strong. 60 seconds make
Good morning, BNIers. Dustin here with your education moment. 3 minutes, one idea, better referrals. Let's go. All right, quick question. Who here has heard of the Titanic? Right, I know. The better question would be, who hasn't heard of the Titanic? So if you've heard of the Titanic, then you're going to understand today's lesson, no problem. You see, the Titanic didn't sink because of what they saw. It sank because of what they didn't see. In fact, the Titanic didn't hit the whole iceberg. They only hit what was below the surface. Above the water, everything looked manageable. Everything looked fine. Everything looked calm. But below the surface, that's where the real damage was done. And that's what ultimately ended up sinking their ship. Now, don't worry. BNI is not sinking, but a lot of referral potential does. And it happens quietly, and it's happening below the surface. So I want you to look at the screen, and I'm going to go ahead and put up what we call the BNI iceberg. Take a look here. And this is important because it answers all kinds of important questions. Like, what did you actually buy when you joined BNI? At the very top, above the water, you see the obvious stuff. You see the BNI meeting, structure, commitment, and that's what most people think of when they join BNI. It's visible, it's scheduled, it's comfortable, but just like a real iceberg, that's only about 10% of what they actually bought. The real value of BNI lives below the surface, right under the waterline. MSP and Passport, mentoring, BNI Connect, education, leadership training. Go deeper and you're going to see one-to-ones, referral strategy sessions, networking books, regional and global networks. And at the very bottom, the heaviest part of the iceberg, perhaps the most important and powerful part of the iceberg, you see power teams. That's where referrals compound. That's where trust multiplies. And that's where businesses actually grow. See, here's the hard truth, and I'm going to say this with as much love as I possibly can. Some members, some of you guys are frustrated because they're judging BNI by the top of the iceberg, what's above the water, and they're completely ignoring the 90% of what they paid for. You see, meetings are great. They create awareness. Education creates skill, but relationships are what creates the referrals. And relationships, they don't live on the surface. They live in between the meetings. They live in one-to-ones. Relationships are all about conversations about life, family, business, what you're interested in, what bothers you. And so here's the challenge for this week, guys. I want you to ask yourself one simple question. Where am I spending my time on the BNI iceberg? Because if you're spending your time on the 10% that's above the water, you're struggling, you're wasting your time. But if you're going to really dive deep, you need to spend your time on what the 90% is below the water. And next week, we're going to take one step towards that. We're going to talk about one-to-ones and how they actually produce great referrals and how they can produce great referrals and not just be a good time of coffee and conversation. So remember, this week as we go along, the relationships build revenue, and I'll see you all next week.
60 seconds make it clear who you helping, why you're here. We don't sell now, we connect. Trust us, show respect. Different lanes, same end zone. Grow together, not alone.